Okay, I want you to picture a scenario. It's February 2026.
Right.
You've just spent 3 weeks on a video. The script is tight, editing is snappy, the lighting looks cinematic, you upload it. Technologically, the file is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And the metrics, when they start coming in, are also perfect. People are clicking, they're watching all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Retention is high. By every standard we've used for the last, 15 years, you have a hit.
And yet nobody's seeing it.
Zero distribution. It's not on the homepage. It's not in the sidebar. It's basically a ghost.
That is the nightmare scenario. And it's the reality for, a massive chunk of creators right now.
The common wisdom, the sort of religion we've all been part of, is that the algorithm rewards engagement.
Of course.
If you can keep eyeballs on the screen, the platform rewards you. But the deep dive we're doing today suggests that Rulebook didn't just get an update, it got burned.
It's a total inversion of the physics of the platform. We're looking at some internal documentation, some analysis from early 2026 that argues that as of, I think it was January 3rd, the algorithm isn't optimizing for watch time anymore. It's optimizing for something called net information gain.
Net information gain? That sounds clinical.
It is clinical, but it's also, look, it's the difference between having a career and being completely invisible. The source material makes a very bold claim.
Which is?
That the world's largest video search engine has shifted its primary incentive from entertainment to data ingestion.
Okay, I want to push back on that just for a second. Why would they do that? Google makes its money when people watch ads. People watch ads when they're entertained. Why would they stop caring about engagement?
Because the customer has changed. For 20 years, the customer was the human viewer. You keep the human happy, you sell ad space.
Simple enough.
But in 2026, the primary customer, the entity that's consuming the most content on the platform, is no longer a human. It's the AI.
You mean the AI overviews?
Exactly. When you search for something now, you get that AI summary at the top. That summary is built by scraping video transcripts. The platform needs to feed its own brain.
So it doesn't need fun videos as much as it needs
accurate, unique data points to answer questions.
So the algorithm is no longer trying to serve me, the guy on the couch. It's trying to serve Gemini.
It's trying to build a library. And if your video doesn't add a new book to that library, if it's just a copy of a book they already have, they aren't going to shelf it.
Which brings us to the core of this update, the economic incentive. The source talks a lot about the cost of redundancy.
Right. To really get this, you have to look at the balance sheet. In early 2026, we saw this massive explosion of copycat content.
This is the LLM effect, right?
It is. People realized they could take a viral video, say, how to fix a leaky faucet, transcribe it, feed it into an LLM, rewrite it to sound just a little different, and then go film it.
So now you have 10,000 videos all saying the exact same thing, just with different faces and slightly different words.
Precisely. And for a human viewer, that's just, annoying. But for the platform, it's a financial crisis.
Because of the processing power.
Yes. Every single time a video is uploaded, the platform's main AI, Gemini, has to process it. It watches the video, reads the transcript, it identifies objects, cross-references facts. That costs electricity. It costs computing power. It costs real money.
So if I upload a video that's informationally identical to 10,000 others, I'm basically asking the platform to spend money to learn nothing new.
Exactly. You're a waste. You're creating a redundant data load. The system realized it was burning millions of dollars reviewing information it already had. So this update on January 3rd, 2026, introduced a filter, a gatekeeper.
And the source calls this the gist filter.
Gist. Think of it as a bouncer at the most exclusive club in the world. But instead of checking your shoes, it's checking your transcript.
And this happens before the main AI even sees the video.
That is the crucial part of the workflow. Before this update, everything went to Gemini. Now, there's a 4-step process. Step 1 is ingestion. You upload the file. Step 2, index storage. But step 3 is gist.
And gist is a mini model, right? It's cheaper to run.
It's a lightweight, efficient model, and it asks one single question. Do I have this anywhere else?
That is terrifyingly simple. Do I have this anywhere else?
It's ruthless. Gist scans your transcript. It pulls out the core claims, the topic, the conclusion. Then it looks at the existing database. If it finds that your video is statistically too similar to content that's already indexed, it stops you.
It stops the upload.
No, the upload finishes.
Yeah.
but refuses to pass you on to step 4. And step 4 is Gemini. That's the deep analysis that leads to recommendations, search results. If you don't pass GIST, you never get analyzed by Gemini.
So you're technically on the platform, but you are digitally dead.
That is the technical definition of a shadow ban in 2026. It's not a punishment for bad behavior. It's a refusal to index redundant data. You failed to provide net information gain.
This feels like a huge shift for creators who built careers on, well, let's call it synthesis. You know, reading 3 articles and then making a video summarizing them.
That model is effectively dead. If the AI can read those 3 articles itself, it just doesn't need your video.
I want to make this concrete because the abstract idea of net information gain is, hard to wrap your head around. The source gives a specific example about the Titanic that I thought was brilliant.
The Titanic example is perfect. It shows the difference between high quality and high information.
Right. So walk us through the failure mode. I decide I want to be a history YouTuber. I rent a studio. I get an 8K camera. I make a documentary called The Truth About the Titanic.
Okay. And what's in your script?
The usual stuff. I talk about the iceberg. I talk about the lack of lifeboats, the class divide, the band playing until the end.
To a human, that might be a beautiful, emotional video. But GIST doesn't have emotions. GIST just sees data points.
It sees iceberg, lifeboats, band.
And it checks the index. It finds 50,000 other videos with the tags Titanic plus iceberg plus lifeboats. It calculates the redundancy. It realizes your script offers, 0% new information relative to what it already knows.
So even though I might have spent $10,000 making it, GIST blocks it.
It blocks it. It saves the computing cost of sending it to Gemini. 0 distribution.
Okay, that's bleak. So what is the success mode? How do you beat a filter that already knows everything?
You have to find the gap in the archive. The source contrasts your video with a different one titled The 6-Word Radio Message That Sank the Titanic.
Which is a great title, I have to say.
It is. But look at the data inside. This video tells the story of Jack Phillips.
Oh, radio operator.
The senior radio operator. And specifically, it details a conflict, a radio beef, they call it, that he had with the operator of a nearby ship, the SS Californian.
I actually didn't know this detail. Apparently, the guy in the Californian buzzed Phillips to say, hey, we're stopped by ice. And Phillips, because he was busy sending passenger messages, just tapped back, shut up, I am busy.
Exactly. And because Phillips was rude, the operator on the Californian turned off his radio and went to sleep. 10 minutes later, the Titanic hits the iceberg. If that radio had been on, the Californian could have saved everyone.
That is a chilling detail.
It is. But now look at it through the eyes of the algorithm. When GIST scans that script, what does it see?
It sees Jack Phillips.
Yeah.
It sees SS Californian.
It sees those entities, sure, but more importantly, it sees the connection between them. It sees radio argument. It sees distress signal blocked. It looks at the database of 50,000 Titanic videos and realizes, wait, only 0.01% of these videos contain this specific causal link.
It found a missing piece of the puzzle.
It found unique data. That is net information gain.
And because it's unique, GIST lets it through.
It opens the velvet rope. It sends the video to Gemini. Gemini analyzes it, verifies the entities, and indexes it. Now, when a user asks the AI, why didn't that nearby ship save the Titanic? Your video is the source of truth. You are the citation.
This sounds incredibly demanding. It suggests that to be a successful creator now, you can't just be a personality. You have to be an investigator. You have to be doing primary research.
You have to be adding to the human record. If you are just rearranging the furniture, the machine just isn't interested.
But there's another layer to this. It's not just about what you say. It's about how the machine hears it. This is where the source gets into semantic IDs.
This is the technical side of the coin.
I'll admit, when I first read this section, I really felt like I was learning a new language.
You're learning the language of the database. We have to remember that Gemini is not reading English. It is reading code. It converts words into nodes.
Explain nodes.
So, in Google's knowledge graph, every verified person, place, or concept is an entity. And every entity has a unique ID. The source uses P. Diddy as an example.
Right. To me, P. Diddy is a name to the algorithm.
He is entity code M01VRN. And the concept of knowledge itself is M04TTB. When the AI scans your script, it's hunting for these codes. It's trying to construct a semantic ID for your video, a long string of numbers that defines exactly what the video is about.
So it's mapping my content against its own encyclopedia.
Correct. And the goal for a scriptwriter in 2026 is node density. You want to hit as many relevant, verified nodes as you can to tell the machine, I know what I'm talking about.
But this leads to what the source calls the vocabulary trap. This is the part about Elon Musk that I found really funny, but also kind of scary.
It's the perfect example of how human humor just fails machine logic.
Okay, so say I'm making a video roasting Elon Musk. I call him the rich tech CEO, and I call his cars egg cars.
To a human audience, that's funny. Egg car is a funny description of a Tesla. But to the gist filter, it's just noise.
Because egg car isn't a node.
Egg car does not map to the Tesla entity. Rich tech CEO is too vague to map definitively to the Elon Musk entity, which has its own code, M01VRN. So you've written a script that's full of words, but to the machine, it's empty of entities. Your semantic ID is weak.
You're speaking English, but you aren't speaking database.
Exactly. Whereas if you use the specific terms, SpaceX, Starship, Tesla, Mars, you're lighting up the dashboard. Mars links to Starship, Starship links to SpaceX, SpaceX links to Musk. You are building a web of authority.
It's almost like you have to optimize your speech for a robotic ear.
You do. The source brings up the young shoppers case. This is a very subtle trap.
Young shoppers. It sounds like a totally normal marketing term.
It does. But the source claims that in the Google Knowledge Graph, the term young shopper doesn't exist. It has no ID. It is a ghost phrase.
But Gen Z consumers.
Gen Z consumers is an entity. It has a code. So if you swap young shoppers for Gen Z consumers in your script, you suddenly appear on the radar. You go from invisible to indexed.
That is wildly specific. How is a normal person supposed to know which words are entities and which words are just ghosts?
Well, the market is adapting. The source mentions that we're seeing a rise in tools software that's designed to solve exactly this.
Yeah, they talked about one called Vid Ninjas, I think, and a feature called Analyze Sauce.
Right. Analyze Sauce. It's basically a spell checker, but for semantic IDs.
Yeah.
You feed it your script, and it cross-references it against Google's knowledge panel.
So it tells you, hey, change egg car to model Y if you want to be seen.
Exactly. And it also gives you an originality score. It simulates the gist filter. It tells you, warning, this section about the Titanic iceberg is 99% redundant. You need to rewrite it or cut it.
It's validation. It's proof that this isn't just a theory. There's a whole industry springing up to help creators pass these filters.
It's the industrialization of creativity. You're auditing your art for data compliance.
Which feels, I don't know, bureaucratic. It feels like we are moving away from the Wild West era of YouTube.
We are. But there's one more feeling we have to talk about. We've discussed the technical filter, gist, and the linguistic filter, semantic IDs. But there is also the financial filter.
It's the advertisers.
The advertisers. And specifically, the Global Alliance of Responsible Media, GRM.
Because at the end of the day, Google still needs to sell ads, and the source suggests that advertisers are getting very picky about where those ads run.
They are reacting to the AI slop problem.
AI slop? I keep coming back to this.
We do. Advertisers are noticing that their premium ads are running next to low-quality AI-generated nonsense, videos that are just slideshows of hallucinations. And they're pulling your spend.
They don't want to be associated with brain rot.
It's a brand safety issue.
Yeah.
So GRM is applying massive pressure on the platforms to clean up the neighborhood. The source argues this is the driving force behind that big wave of channel terminations we're seeing in early 2026.
It's a purge.
It is a purge. But we have to be really clear about the distinction here. The platform isn't banning AI tools.
Right. Using a tool to check your script is fine.
That's workflow. That's just smart. What they're banning is AI output that lacks human supervision. If your video looks like it was generated by a bot, for a bot, GRM flags it as low quality, and the platform either demonetizes it or just kills the channel.
So the invisible ceiling is basically, if a human didn't really make this, we aren't paying for it.
Correct. The system is demanding human curation. It wants that net information gain, but it wants it to come from human research, even if you used AI to help organize it.
This paints a picture of a future that is radically different from the last decade. It feels like the era of the performer, the loud, high-energy creator, is ending.
I wouldn't say ending, but it's definitely evolving. I started calling it the archival era.
The archival era. What does that mean for the person listening to this right now who wants to build something?
It means you have to shift your entire mindset. You're no longer just performing for an audience of, bored humans.
Yeah.
You are submitting data to a planetary library.
A library where the librarian is an AI?
Yes. The primary consumer of your content is Gemini. It's ingesting your video to learn, to answer questions, to build its understanding of the world. Success isn't about hacking the algorithm with a clickbait thumbnail anymore.
Because clickbait fails the gist filter. If the content doesn't match the promise, or if it's just empty calories, it's rejected.
Exactly. It forces a shift from performative content, from look at me, to archival value. Here is something new. Here is a fact you didn't have.
It's a move from attention to knowledge.
It is. And in a way, it really raises the bar. It demands that we actually know what we're talking about.
But it also leaves us with a very heavy question. And this is what I want to leave you, the listener, with today.
It's the question of identity, really.
If the primary audience for your work is no longer a human being, but a machine trying to learn, are you still a creator?
Or are you just a data entry clerk for the hive mind?
That's the question. And in 2026, the answer might determine whether you have a career or whether you get filtered out by the gist.
It's a brave new world.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you on the next one.